Do you go back? You talked about LQ, and for those who are of us who are in the part of the uninformed, what's LQ? What does that mean, and why is it important?
Yeah, sorry, I threw
It's all
in,
good.
threw out the acronyms. Yeah, so typically, like people would interview for a couple different types of skills, right? We do core values hiring first and foremost, but also then you have the kind of the standard IQ and EQ, right? Where you're going to hire for the intellectual quotient and then also the emotional quotient, right? To say, well, do you have the capabilities to do your job, but then also can you fit in with our team, right? And um, we see those as almost like institutionalized barriers for people that have diverse backgrounds to get into a culture. So to get into a company, in that, like, or kind of how it represents, it creates a homogenized culture because the I think this person would be a good fit for our team is kind of a representation to say, well, I could like them and I could see myself hanging out with them because they have commonalities and symmetry with me as an individual, or they are smart because they went to this school, right? They have this degree from this university. So do I. So I can validate that they have the IQ that would fit for our company. And the biggest thing is the homogenization of that hiring practice is archaic. It actually builds in systemic disparities for underserved communities because people that come from different backgrounds oftentimes look, act, speak, think differently than what the rest of the culture does. And so it ends up being kind of well, they're not really a good fit. They wouldn't fit, right? So we actually kind of flip it around and we treat it more of the learning quotient. Regardless of, we evaluate people regardless of whether or not they have the IQ. They have to kind of meet the basic standards, right, to be able to have the capabilities to do the role. And we just kind of, you can't be a jerk, right? Like, or you can be a jerk, but not one that people don't really like. But the big thing is you really have to have the learning quotient and be able to get up to speed, because anybody that says they're an expert in technology is going to be obsolete real quick unless they're going to be working on some legacy tech. And so, you really have to be super passionate about the next set of technology that's coming out, super passionate about meeting the next individual, super passionate about connecting with the next individual. And that's all the learning quotient that we try to profile for.